Hey there, Tiffany here with Years of Years and Brad as well today. And it's this day in Disney for October 20th. And we are headed to 1935 with the birth of an actor, Jerry Orbach. And you will know him for many things, but first off, we'll talk about his work with Disney. He was the voice of Lumière. And I love Lumière and Beauty and the Beast. He also voiced Lumière for the other iterations of the film. So Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Christmas, which I love that one too. I do like that one a lot. I watched it with my girls when they were little. And then Belle's Magical World. And he was able to voice Lumière for Mickey's PhilharMagic in 2003.
Of course.
And that's really special. We'll talk about that toward the end here of sharing with him. Also, he supplied the voice for Saluk in the 1985 Aladdin and the King of Thieves. So Thieves and
the major villain, there's a conflict at the end with the Hand of Midas, and he's very prominent there.
Oh yeah, the Hand of Midas. That's a tricky thing. Okay. But I remember him best personally, outside of knowing that he did the voice of Lumière, but I remember him best for his role as Lennie Briscoe on Law and Order.
Dum dum.
Yeah. I watched so much Law and Order when I was a kid.
And when we were young parents, in the late 90s, we used to watch it when it was in syndication on USA, for sure.
We don't watch it at all now.
Yeah, but we watched a ton of it. Enough to see repeats.
Yeah, so especially knowing Lennie Briscoe's part. And Jerry Orbach was on there for a decade. So,
easily.
I mean, just phenomenal. So as a Tony Award-winning actor, he had an impressive career. At the time of his death, he was described as one of the last bona fide leading men of the Broadway musical and global celebrity on television. And, he was a versatile actor. So he was born to Emily, a greeting card manufacturer and a radio singer, and Leon Orbach, a restaurant manager and vaudeville performer. So he had that talent and singing and dancing, probably with vaudeville and such.
And wit and charm with the cards.
Yes.
Very clear.
Yeah, so Orbach stated that his father was descended from Sephardic refugees from the Spanish Inquisition. His mother, a native of Lucerne County, Pennsylvania, was a Roman Catholic of Polish-Lithuanian descent. And Orbach was raised in her faith. So I bring all this up because they actually used that complete background as his character on Law and Order. So, kind of interesting. So he moved a bunch when he was a kid. Growing up, he was in Mount Vernon, New York. Besides being born in the Bronx, he was in Mount Vernon. And then he went to Wilkes-Barre, Nanticoke, and then Scranton, Pennsylvania. I can't say Scranton without thinking of The Office.
So true. Wow.
But anyway,
Thunder Mifflin.
Yeah, Springfield, Massachusetts, and then Waukegan, Illinois.
There you go.
Yeah, he actually graduated from high school in Waukegan, so we're familiar with all that. Yeah, and he actually skipped 2 grades in elementary school because he had extremely high IQ. So he was very smart, and I don't doubt it.
Amazing.
So 1953, he went to the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. That's where my dad went to school.
Yeah.
And then he returned back to Chicago and went to Northwestern. In his senior year, he took off to New York and went to the Actors Studio and started studying acting, and that was in 55. So after he became a Broadway and off-Broadway actor after he was there. So he went from that Actors Studio to Broadway.
Oh, wonderful.
His first major role in 1960 was El Gallo in The Fantastics.
Okay.
Okay, so other productions he did was the Three Penny Opera Carnival, which sounded really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Guys and Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
He was Sky Masterson, and he was nominated for a Tony Award for that one.
Wow.
So, like, just a couple Broadway performances in, and he's getting Tony Award nominations. So, talented. Then Chicago. He was in Chicago. He also got another nomination for that, for being Billy Flynn.
I didn't even know he was in Chicago.
Right? An older version of it in the 60s.
Okay.
And then on Broadway. And then 42nd Street. In the 80s, he transitioned into TV. So he played Gus Levi in The Prince of the City. Then he was in FX and Crimes and Misdemeanors, and he just kind of veers into that.
Crime drama
shows. For the most part, he was in 85, he was in Murder, She Wrote.
Really?
Yep, Detective Henry McGow. So that's cool.
7 Degrees of Separation with Angela Lansbury.
Yeah. And then in 87, he was Dr. Jake Houseman in Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
so
my
you remember that. He was Baby's father.
Wow.
Had
the opportunity to grow up with those movies and with the soundtracks. I mean, there was a resurgence of 50s, 60s music when we were kids. So those records and those movies, crazy. He was the dad. It's so awesome.
Right. And, like, he was so good at being the dad in that film, and then being who he was on Law and Order. I never, like, saw them as the same guy.
Sure.
When I was young. I don't know why. I should. I mean, they are distinctly. Obviously, it's him, but he's talented. So he appeared as a guest on other TV shows too. He was on Golden Girls, and when he appeared as a guest, apparently it was so good, he got his first Emmy nomination
for being on Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what?
That's awesome.
So he was on Who's the Boss and Frasier too.
Oh my gosh.
Frasier. We watched
Frasier was a sickness for us for a while.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
We loved it. And then of course his longtime stint with Law and Order. So unfortunately, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 1994, 2 years after beginning his stint with Law and Order.
Wow.
So he had radiation therapy there then, and the cancer had metastasized. And so he ended up just having hormone therapy for a decade. So they didn't cure it or get rid of the cancer at that time. So following his departure from the series, he underwent chemotherapy. This was in like 2003, 2004. But ultimately the cancer, he succumbed to the cancer December 28th of 2004. So that's why I had mentioned him being the voice in Feel Her Magic, because that was one of, the
last things he did.
One of the last things he did, yeah.
So cool.
So it was not public that he suffered from prostate cancer.
And yet I remember at the end hearing about it.
Yeah, at the end, it was very public. But just imagine, like, almost 10 years on that show, he was suffering from cancer. So that's just phenomenal in itself.
Yeah.
What a service to the world. He could have just checked out by then. He did so much in his career, but he must have really loved that role.
Or a drive for the theatrics and for entertaining.
Yeah,
amazing.
Even both his sons were on Law and Order in relation to him and stuff. So the day after his death, the marquees on Broadway were dimmed in the morning, one of the highest honors of the American theater world. So
wow.
I just think that's beautiful.
That's great.
Lots of shows and episodes were dedicated to him. Not, usually it's like one or two for somebody, but there was a lot on there that was dedicated to him. He was inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame in 1999 and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a male actor in a drama series, and that was for Law and Order.
Of course.
And then if you live in New York, on September 18th, 2007, a portion of New York's City's 53rd Street near 8th Avenue was renamed Jerry Orbach Way in his honor.
Very nice.
That's so cool. And apparently they had to fight for that. So
okay.
I'm really glad it worked out because he deserved it. And he was just amazing facet. Actually, where that area that was named after him, he would go and hang out. He was known, and I mean, he just hung out. It was Hell's something.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, New Yorkers, you gotta school me. But anyway, he would hang out there. He was well known there, you know, going to the different Italian restaurants and different eateries and different things. And it just makes total sense that they named that portion of town, you know, that street after him. So
where his feet had walked.
Yeah, so next time you watch Beauty and the Beast and listen to Lumière, I just hope like it sinks in more what a talented actor he really was. And obviously we feel that from his role just in that film, but you know, go check out Jerry Orbach. So yeah, so that was a lot of information, and we've decided on This Day in Disney to sometimes just do one thing, one person or one event, because it is really hard to cover someone's life or an opening of a park or whatnot, and you know, then talk about something else as well. So today we just talked about Jerry Orbach.
It's good.
Yeah. So we hope you guys will understand and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Awesome.
So that's it for This Day in Disney. Thanks for coming along.
Of course.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.